Imagine a country sitting on the largest oil reserves in the world. Once so rich, its citizens called it Saudi Venezuela, a place where gasoline was cheaper than water, and the future seemed limitless. This was Venezuela. So how did this prosperous nation spiral into one of the worst economic collapses in modern history? Outside of war? For most of the 20th century, Venezuela's story was one of black gold. The discovery of massive oil fields in the 1920s transformed it from a poor agricultural society into a regional powerhouse. By the 1970s, during the global oil crisis, money was pouring in. The government spent lavishly on infrastructure, education, and healthcare. For a time, it seemed like the party would never end. But this immense wealth was built on a fragile foundation, a single commodity. When global oil prices crashed in the 1980s, the first cracks began to show. The Venezuelan dream started to feel less certain. Then, in Ijojojo, Hugo Chavez came to power, promising a Bolivarian revolution. He vowed to use the country's oil wealth to fight poverty and inequality. Riding a wave of high oil prices in the 2000s, his government launched massive social programs called misiones. These provided food, housing, and medical care to millions, lifting many out of poverty. Chavez also nationalized key industries, from oil projects to telecommunications and electricity, taking control away from private companies and placing it in the hands of the state. On the surface, things looked good. Poverty rates fell, and for many, life improved. But beneath the surface, the economic engine was sputtering. The nationalizations often led to mismanagement and a sharp drop in production. Price controls, meant to make goods affordable, instead created massive shortages because companies couldn't make a profit. The government became almost entirely dependent on oil exports to fund its spending. Instead of diversifying the economy, the revolution doubled down on oil. When Chavez died in 2013 and his successor, Nicolas Maduro, took over, oil prices were about to plummet again. This time, the crash was catastrophic, with oil prices collapsing and production crippled by years of underinvestment and mismanagement. The government's income evaporated. To cover its massive spending, it did the only thing it could: print more money. This triggered hyperinflation on a scale rarely seen in history. Prices began doubling every few weeks, then every few days. The currency, the bolivar, became virtually worthless. Savings were wiped out overnight. Shelves in stores went empty. Finding basic necessities like flour, medicine, or even toilet paper became a daily struggle. The result has been a devastating humanitarian crisis. Malnutrition has soared, and once eradicated diseases have returned due to the collapse of the healthcare system. Millions of Venezuelans, seeing no future at home, have fled the country, creating one of the largest refugee crises in the world. From the richest country in Latin America to a nation in tatters, Venezuela's story is a powerful cautionary tale about the dangers of over-reliance on a single resource and the devastating consequences of economic mismanagement. The dream of Saudi Venezuela now feels like a distant memory. Thanks for watching.